Prince Clavan stood on the command deck of his warship, the Swift Blade, looking out at the stars. His scales shimmered in the blue light of the ship's displays. As the third son of the Zerathi Emperor, Clavan had much to prove. His older brothers had won great battles and claimed new territories for their empire. So far, Clavan had done nothing to make his father proud. "Your Highness," said Officer Day, bowing deeply, "our scanners have detected a lone vessel at the edge of neutral space." Clavan's frilled neck expanded with interest. "Show me." A hologram appeared, displaying a bulky ship with smooth lines and the markings of Earth. The ship moved slowly, its engines giving off minimal heat signatures. "A human cargo vessel," Officer Day explained. "The Perseverance. It appears to be carrying mining equipment to the outer colonies." Clavan's yellow eyes narrowed. Humans, the newest species to join the Galactic Alliance. They had proven surprisingly resilient for soft-skinned mammals, but they were still weak compared to the mighty Zerathi. "How many crew?" Clavan asked. "Scans indicate only 12 life forms aboard." Clavan smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Here was his chance for glory. A simple capture of a human vessel would prove his worth to his father and bring valuable technology to study. "Set course to intercept," he ordered. Commander Quan, a veteran of many battles, stepped forward. His old scales had lost their shine, but his eyes held wisdom. "Prince Clavan, if I may speak freely?" "You may. Our intelligence reports suggest caution when dealing with human vessels. They are known to have hidden capabilities." Clavan laughed, the sound echoing across the command deck. "Hidden capabilities? Look at it. It's a slow cargo ship with minimal weapons. What could 12 humans possibly do against our warship and 100 warriors?" Commander Quan lowered his eyes. "As you wish, Your Highness. But the humans have a saying, appearances can be deceiving. And we Zerathi have a saying too. The hesitant hunter returns with an empty stomach." Clavan replied sharply. "I will not let this opportunity pass." The Swift Blade changed course, its powerful engines glowing as it moved toward the human vessel. Clavan watched with growing excitement. His first real command, his first real prize. Officer Sun, at the communications station, turned to him. "Your Highness, I've been studying human behavior as part of my duties. They are strange creatures. They appear weak, but they've survived wars, disasters, and challenges that would destroy many species. All species say such things about themselves." Clavan dismissed her concerns with a wave of his clawed hand. "Next, you'll tell me they have special powers." "Not powers, Your Highness. But they adapt quickly, and they are unpredictable." Clavan was growing tired of these warnings. "Enough. I've made my decision. Prepare boarding parties and activate weapons systems. I want that ship disabled, not destroyed." As the Swift Blade closed in on the human vessel, Clavan noticed something odd. The cargo ship wasn't changing course or increasing speed. It continued its slow journey as if unaware of the danger. "They must not have detected us yet," he said, pleased with their stealth technology. Commander Quan looked troubled. "Or they're waiting for us." "Waiting? For what? To be captured?" Clavan laughed again. "No, they're simply unaware. This will be even easier than I thought." The Swift Blade moved into attack position, now clearly visible to any sensors on the human ship. Still, the Perseverance made no move to flee. "Your Highness," Officer Day reported, "we're detecting energy fluctuations from the human vessel." Clavan leaned forward. "They're finally noticing us. Prepare the disabling shot." "Wait," Commander Quan said urgently. "Those energy readings don't match known human cargo vessels." Before Clavan could respond, Officer Sun called out, "Incoming transmission from the human ship." "Put it on screen," Clavan ordered, straightening his ceremonial armor. It was time to face his prey. The screen flickered to life, showing a human male with dark eyes and a calm expression that bothered Clavan. This was not the face of someone afraid. "This is Captain Kim of the Earth vessel Perseverance," the human said in a steady voice. "Zerathi warship, you have entered neutral space with weapons active. State your intentions. Klevan stepped forward, his chest puffed out. I am Prince Klevan of the mighty Zirathi Empire. Your ship is now mine by right of conquest. Surrender, and you may live as servants. Captain Kim's expression didn't change. Prince Klevan, attacking a human vessel would violate the Treaty of Arcturus. I strongly advise you to reconsider your actions. Klevan felt his anger rise. How dare this human speak to him this way? You have 1 standard hour to surrender, human, or I will take your ship by force. As the transmission ended, Klevan turned to his crew with a triumphant smile. Soon, he would return home a hero. The hour passed quickly on the Swift Blade as Prince Klevan prepared his boarding teams. He selected his finest warriors, each armed with stun weapons designed to capture the humans alive. The prince himself wore his ceremonial armor, polished to a shine that reflected the blue emergency lights now flashing across his ship. Your Highness, Officer Sun reported. The human vessel still hasn't attempted to flee. They've made no transmissions to other human ships or stations. Of course not, Klevan replied confidently. They know they cannot escape. Perhaps humans are more sensible than our reports suggest. Commander Quan approached, his old scales, catching the light as he bowed. The boarding teams are ready, Prince Klevan. But I must ask once more. Are you certain this is wise? The humans have been peaceful allies to many species. Klevan's neck frills flared in irritation. They are allies out of necessity, not strength, and we are not part of their alliances. This is a simple capture mission that will bring glory to our house. As the final minutes ticked away, Officer Day called out from his station. Energy fluctuations increasing in the human vessel. They're probably preparing to surrender, Klevan said. Open a channel. Captain Kim's face appeared on screen again, still showing that unsettling calm that bothered the prince. Your time has expired, human, Klevan announced. Prepare to be boarded. Prince Klevan, Captain Kim said, I gave you a chance to withdraw peacefully. You've made your choice. But I want the record to show that humans tried to avoid this conflict. Klevan laughed. Avoid conflict? You had no choice. Your ship is alone and outmatched. For the first time, Captain Kim smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. About that, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Suddenly Officer Day shouted, Your Highness, the human ship's hull is changing. On their screens, the Perseverance seemed to transform. Panels that had appeared decorative slid aside, revealing weapon ports. The ship's engines glowed brighter as power redirected through its systems. What trickery is this? Klevan demanded. No, trickery, Captain Kim replied. The Perseverance is an escort vessel disguised as a cargo ship. We patrol dangerous regions this way to catch pirates and other threats. Commander Quan stepped forward. Your Highness, we should withdraw immediately. This was clearly a mistake. No, Klevan hissed. I will not retreat from humans. Fire disabling shots. The Swift Blade's weapons charged, targeting the human vessel's engines. But before they could fire, the Perseverance moved with startling speed, banking hard and accelerating rapidly. They're faster than our intelligence suggested, Officer Sun exclaimed. The human ship fired first, a precise shot that struck the Swift Blade's main weapon array. Alarms blared across the command deck as systems reported damage. Return fire, Klevan ordered, rage building in his chest. The Zirathi ship launched a volley of energy blasts, but the Perseverance evaded most of them with unexpected agility. The few shots that connected seemed to do minimal damage against advanced shields. How is this possible? Klevan demanded as his ship rocked from another hit. They're just humans. Your Highness, Commander Quan said urgently, we should disengage. We've clearly misjudged their capabilities. Before Klevan could answer, Officer Sun called out, Incoming message! Captain Kim appeared again, his expression now stern. Prince Klevan, we've disabled your main weapons to prevent further escalation. Stand down your remaining systems and we can discuss this peacefully. Klevan's pride would not allow surrender. All auxiliary weapons target their bridge. Full power. The Swift Blade trembled as it redirected energy to secondary weapon systems. But the Perseverance was already moving. circling around to the Zerathi ship's vulnerable rear quadrant. "They've analyzed our design," Commander Kwan realized aloud. "They're targeting our engine cooling systems." Another precise hit rocked the ship, and suddenly, half the command deck went dark as systems failed. "Emergency power activated," reported Officer Day. "Main engines offline. We're operating on auxiliary power only." Clevan stared in disbelief at the tactical display. How had a single human ship disabled his warship so quickly? His father would be furious. His brothers would mock him forever. "Your Highness," Officer Sun said quietly, "they're hailing us again." With no choice, Clevan nodded. Captain Kim's face appeared, still frustratingly calm. "Prince Clevan, your ship is disabled but repairable. No one needs to die today. Do you agree to cease hostilities?" The command deck was silent as everyone waited for the prince's response. His pride demanded continued resistance, but reality told a different story. "This isn't over," Clevan said through clenched teeth. "I was afraid you'd say that, Captain," Kim replied. "Be advised that I've sent a distress call when you first approached. Human military vessels will arrive shortly. I suggest you reconsider your position." As the transmission ended, Commander Kwan approached Clevan. "Your Highness, we must surrender. We cannot fight in this condition, especially not against multiple human warships." Clevan stared at the Perseverance on the viewscreen, hatred and grudging respect battling within him. How could he have been so wrong about the humans? Prince Clevan paced the damaged command deck of the Swift Blade, his claws clicking against the metal floor. Emergency lights cast red shadows across the worried faces of his crew. The prince's pride had been wounded more deeply than his ship, and rage burned in his yellow eyes. "Restore weapons. Reroute power from life support if necessary," he ordered. Commander Kwan stepped forward cautiously. "Your Highness, we should accept the humans' offer. Our main engines are offline. Half our weapons are destroyed." "Never," Clevan hissed, his neck frills expanding fully in anger. "I am a prince of the Zerathi Empire. I will not surrender to humans." Officer Sun monitored the communications array, her scales pale with worry. "Your Highness, our sensors confirm 3 human warships will arrive in approximately 20 minutes. Clevan stopped his pacing. 20 minutes, perhaps enough time to strike back and escape. He would not return to his father in shame. "Officer Day, what weapons remain functional?" the prince demanded. Day consulted his flickering console. "Secondary. Plasma cannons are operational, and we have 2 boarding torpedoes still loaded." A plan formed in Clevan's mind. "Prepare the boarding torpedoes. Target their bridge. If we capture their captain, we can escape before their reinforcements arrive." Commander Kwan's eyes widened. "Your Highness, this would escalate the situation beyond repair. The humans would consider this an act of war." "The humans started this war when they tricked us," Clevan snapped. "No cargo ship moves like that or carries such weapons." "They didn't trick us," Officer Sun said quietly. "Our intelligence reports warned that human vessels often serve multiple functions. You, chose to ignore those warnings." Clevan whirled on her, ready to punish such insolence. But a new alert sounded from Officer Day's station. "The human ship is scanning us," Day reported. "They seem to be analyzing our damaged systems." On the main screen, the Perseverance moved in a wide arc around the disabled Zerathi vessel. It maintained a safe distance while keeping all its weapons trained on the Swift Blade. The smooth efficiency of its movements impressed even Clevan, though he would never admit it. "Launch the boarding torpedoes on my mark," Clevan ordered. "Commander." Kwan placed himself between the prince and the weapons console. "I cannot allow this, Your Highness. This action will doom not just us but potentially our entire species to war." For a moment, Clevan considered removing the old commander by force. But before he could act, Officer Sun called out in surprise, "Your Highness, the human ship. It's changing again." All eyes turned to the screen. The Perseverance was indeed transforming once more. Plates shifted along its hull, revealing not weapons this time, but a complex array of sensors and communication equipment. The ship's energy signature changed, becoming more focused and directed. "What are they doing?" Clevan demanded. Officer Day worked frantically at his console. They appear to be broadcasting a wideband signal. It's penetrating our systems. Suddenly, every screen on the command deck flickered. The Swiftblade's own computer system seemed to stutter and pause. Then, impossibly, all the screens displayed the same message in perfect Zirathi script. Cease hostilities or be neutralized. How are they doing this? Clevan whispered, genuine, fear creeping into his voice for the first time. How did they access our systems? Officer Sun analyzed the signal. It appears to be an adaptive AI program. It's found vulnerabilities in our network we didn't know existed. At that moment, Captain Kim's face appeared on every screen throughout the ship. Prince Clevan, our sensors detect you preparing your boarding torpedoes. This would be a serious mistake. My ship's defense AI has already mapped your entire vessel and can disable your life support systems if necessary. Please, let's end this peacefully. Clevan stared in shock. The humans had an artificial intelligence capable of penetrating Zirathi military systems. This was impossible. Zirathi technology was superior to all others. Your Highness, Commander Kwan said softly, the humans are known for two things: their adaptability and their restraint. They are showing both now. They could have destroyed us, but they choose not to. As if to emphasize this point, Officer Day reported, new scan results from the human ship. They've identified the exact location of our royal quarters. They could have targeted you specifically, Your Highness, but they chose not to. The realization hit Clevan like a physical blow. He had completely underestimated these humans. Their apparent weakness was perhaps their greatest deception. They appeared soft but harbored technologies that rivaled or exceeded Zirathi capabilities. Your Highness, Officer Sun said urgently, the human reinforcements will arrive in 10 minutes. We must decide now. Pride and practicality battled within Clevan's mind. To surrender was unthinkable, yet to continue fighting would be suicide. As he struggled with the decision, a new transmission came through, this one coded with the imperial seal of his father. With dread, Clevan opened the message. His father's face appeared, scales dark with fury. You fool, Emperor Rensar hissed. Our intelligence network has informed me of your unauthorized attack on a human vessel. You will stand down immediately. The Zirathi Empire is not ready for war with the humans. As the message ended, Clevan stood frozen, his world collapsing around him. He had sought glory and found only humiliation. And worse, the humans were witnesses to his failure. Signal our surrender, he finally ordered, his voice hollow. Tell the humans. Tell them Prince Clevan submits to their mercy. In the quiet town of Millbrook, the aftermath of Detective Sarah Reynolds' investigation began to ripple through the community like a stone thrown into still water. The revelation of the complex web of corruption involving local politicians, business leaders, and a notorious crime syndicate sent shockwaves through every corner of the town. Thomas Green, the once respected city council member, sat in a cold interrogation room, his expensive suit now wrinkled and his confident demeanor shattered. The evidence Sarah had uncovered was overwhelming. Years of carefully planned illegal activities were now unraveling, exposing a network of bribes, money laundering, and secret deals that had manipulated the town's economy and political landscape. The local newspaper ran front-page stories day after day. Photographs of handcuffed officials, business executives being led away, and crime scene tapes surrounded key locations throughout Millbrook. People who had trusted these leaders for years now looked at each other with suspicion and anger. Sarah watched from a distance, her investigation complete but the emotional toll still weighing heavily on her. She knew the consequences would be far-reaching. Families were being torn apart. Careers were destroyed. The trust that held the community together was crumbling like an old brick wall. Mark Rodriguez, a young businessman who had been unknowingly caught in the middle of the criminal network, found himself at a crossroads. His family's small construction company had been used as a front for money laundering, and now everything he had worked for was falling apart. He sat in his empty office, staring at the walls that once represented his dreams, now feeling like a prison of broken promises. The local police department was not spared from the investigation. 3 senior officers were suspended, their badges and guns taken away. The corruption had run deeper than anyone had imagined. Young officers like Elena Martinez found themselves rebuilding the department's reputation, working twice as hard to restore public trust. In the weeks that followed, the town's economy began to feel the impact. Businesses connected to the exposed, networks started to collapse. Property values dropped. The local bank faced intense scrutiny with federal investigators combing through years of financial records. Sarah knew the fight was far from over. Each arrest, each piece of evidence uncovered, was just another step in a long journey of justice. She spent late nights reviewing documents, connecting final pieces of the puzzle, ensuring that no one involved would escape accountability. The community meetings became tense gatherings. People argued, blamed, and tried to make sense of how such widespread corruption could have existed right under their noses. Old friendships were tested. Neighbors who had known each other for decades now looked at each other with suspicion. Young students learned about the scandal in their local history classes. Parents tried to explain the complex web of deceit to their children, struggling to find words that made sense of the betrayal. Thomas Green's wife, Elizabeth, stood by the window of their once grand home, watching as moving trucks arrived to take away their belongings. Years of luxury, built on stolen money and illegal deals, were now being stripped away. She wondered how she would rebuild her life, how she would face the community that now saw her as part of the problem. The courthouse became a center of attention. Trials were scheduled, witnesses prepared to testify. Sarah worked closely with the prosecution, her meticulous investigation providing the solid foundation for each case. As summer turned to fall, Millbrook slowly began to heal. New leaders emerged. People started to rebuild trust. The community that had been broken began to find its strength again. Mark Rodriguez decided to start over. He would rebuild his family's business, this time with complete transparency. Elena Martinez continued her work in the police department, determined to create a culture of integrity and honesty. And Sarah? She remained focused, knowing that one investigation might be complete, but the fight for justice was never truly over. The scars would take time to heal, but the truth had finally come to light. The small town of Millbrook had been shaken to its core, but it was not defeated. Something important had happened. A community had chosen truth over silence, justice over corruption. In the quiet town of Oak Ridge, where life moved at a gentle pace, lived a teenager named Alex, who always struggled with patience and understanding. School had never been easy for him, and he often found himself frustrated with lessons and social interactions. One crisp autumn morning, Alex arrived at school carrying a heavy backpack filled with notebooks and a mind clouded with irritation. His math teacher, Mrs. Thompson, had assigned a complex group project that required collaboration, something Alex typically avoided. He preferred working alone and believed teamwork was a waste of time. His assigned group consisted of 3 other students. Sarah, a quiet girl who loved drawing, Michael, a science enthusiast with thick glasses, and Emma, a friendly student who always seemed optimistic. When they first met to discuss the project, Alex sat with his arms crossed, radiating resistance. "We need to solve this mathematical modeling problem together," Emma said cheerfully. Michael began explaining some initial ideas, but Alex barely listened. He thought to himself that he could solve this faster by himself and without their input, as my. The group meeting progressed. Alex made sarcastic comments and dismissed most suggestions. Sarah remained silent, sketching something in her notebook while Michael looked increasingly uncomfortable. Emma, however, remained patient and tried to include everyone's perspectives. Halfway through their planning session, Sarah unexpectedly shared a unique diagram that beautifully illustrated a complex mathematical concept. Her visual representation made the entire problem suddenly clear. Michael then added technical details that complemented her drawing, creating a surprisingly elegant solution. Alex was stunned. For the first time, he realized that each team member brought something valuable to the table. His initial assumption about their capabilities had been completely wrong. The solution they were developing was far more innovative than anything he could have created alone. During the next few meetings, Alex changed his approach. He started listening more carefully, asking questions, and genuinely considering his teammates' ideas. Emma's positive attitude helped create a collaborative environment. Michael's analytical skills provided depth, and Sarah's creative perspective offered unique insights. When they finally presented their project, their mathematical model was not just correct but exceptionally creative. Their teacher was impressed, praising their teamwork and innovative approach. More importantly, Alex felt a sense of accomplishment that was different from his previous solo achievements. The experience transformed Alex's understanding of collaboration. He learned that diverse perspectives could create something far more powerful than individual efforts. His narrow view of intelligence and problem-solving had limited him, and now he saw the beauty of collective thinking. Over the next few weeks, Alex began applying this lesson to other aspects of his life. He became more open to listening in class, more willing to consider different viewpoints, and more patient with his classmates. His grades improved, and his relationships became more meaningful. His parents noticed the change. His mother remarked one evening how much more relaxed and engaged he seemed. His father was surprised to hear him discussing group projects with enthusiasm instead of frustration. The most significant change was internal. Alex discovered that true learning wasn't about being right all the time, but about being open to new ideas. He understood that intelligence wasn't a fixed trait, but something that could grow through collaboration and understanding. Sarah, Michael, and Emma became more than just project teammates. They became friends. They appreciated how Alex had transformed and welcomed his newfound respect for teamwork. Their friendship continued beyond the classroom, proving that meaningful connections could emerge from unexpected places. As the school year progressed, Alex reflected on that pivotal moment when he chose to listen instead of judge. He realized that his previous approach had been a barrier to his own growth and potential. The mathematical project had been more than an academic exercise. It was a life lesson about humility, respect, and the power of collective intelligence. The lesson he learned would stay with him far beyond his school years. It was a reminder that success is not achieved in isolation, but through understanding, patience, and the willingness to see value in others' perspectives. In the end, Alex's journey was about more than solving a mathematical problem. It was about solving the complex equation of human interaction, where each individual brings a unique variable that, when combined, creates something extraordinary.